Going into this NHL season, although Chris Drury, the Rangers general manager, did not make a bunch of kind of big moves there, and I didn't love the kind of additions that he made, although, I liked the Sam Carrick move, and I didn't hate the addition of Riley Smith and some of the other kind of, lower kind of depth moves. I didn't hate them, but I thought this Rangers team did not do enough in this offseason to kind of really help add to this roster, but I still thought this team could be at least a, playoff caliber team. Obviously, from what we've seen so far this season from the Rangers, they have proven me completely wrong, and I think that's unfortunate, but this team is definitely not looking like they're going to be making playoffs with just 5 games left to play now. If they want to have even the slightest chance of making the playoffs, they're pretty much going to have to win every single one of those last remaining games, and with it being a pretty tough schedule as well, things are definitely not looking great. The Rangers' last 5 remaining games are against the Flyers, who are definitely not a great team, but they're not one of the absolute kind of like bottom 3 teams in the entire league. Then you've got the Islanders, who are not going to be a complete pushover. The Canes are a good team. The Panthers are a good team, and so are the Lightning as well. Once again, the Rangers will play them. So it's obviously not looking great there. You've got, 3 really strong teams there in the Hurricanes, Panthers, and Lightning, who you still have to play. And the Flyers and Islanders, who are not kind of bottom tier teams in the league either. So the Rangers have 3 pretty tough games remaining, a couple decently tough games remaining, but my point is if they want to have even the slightest chance, not just to have a chance, they pretty much have to win all 5 of those remaining games, which it's just not likely at all. With the way this team has been playing there, the major lack of effort, of energy, of eagerness to win. I mean, the coach has pretty much given up on this team, it seems like, and we'll get to some of his quotes in a second here post kind of that 5-1 loss to the Lightning. So overall, it's just been a complete disaster of a season. We have dealt with some injuries for sure. I mean, obviously Fox, he missed some time there. You had a guy like Filipino miss some time. There have definitely been some injuries here and there, but I think the main thing, obviously, is the fact that this team is just not built the right way to truly go out there and win a cup. And even in the regular season there, we're seeing this kind of core group of players just not kind of work out. I mean, I think we obviously saw that, and Chris Drury kind of figured that out finally after he decided to start making some moves there and deal away a guy like Jacob Trouba. And although I didn't love it, he dealt away Kreider, then dealt away Filipino to get, a guy like JT Miller back in the room. So there have definitely been quite a few different kind of, core-changing moves here. Even a move like, shipping off a guy like Ryan Lindgren there opens up the door to kind of allow some different players to come in here. And although it hasn't worked out quite to the best kind of level so far this season, maybe next season there, with all these kind of moves happening there and the core really kind of changing towards guys like, more of Will Cooley, a Lafreniere, a JT Miller, a Trocheck, instead of guys like Kreider, Zibanejad, and those kind of guys. So I think that's definitely nice that this team is at least trying to make some change here, but I think we still need to see a lot more change happen in this upcoming offseason if we want to see this team truly get back to being a real kind of Stanley Cup threat, a team to truly kind of potentially win the cup there. This team has to make some more major change. I think it starts with firing the head coach, Peter Laviolette, which I think is an absolute must at this point there, alongside another kind of 2 really big kind of must almost in trading away guys like Chris Kreider and K'Andre Miller. I think at moments, K'Andre definitely flashes, stuff and can definitely show that he has the potential to be a true kind of top 4 consistent defenseman, but he just doesn't do it consistently enough there. He shows flashes of being phenomenal, but he just doesn't do it consistently enough there and is a liability at moments and is just doing that way too much. So in my opinion there, you got to trade away a guy like K'Andre Miller and Chris Kreider, as he is just not playing the greatest hockey at this point there. And with him having 2 more years left with a contract at $6.25 million, if you can trade away a guy like Kreider there, ship off someone like K'Andre, that opens up over like $10 million in cap space to go out there and, add in some more kind of really key players to this team there, whether it's another kind of top 6 forward or a very, very good kind of third line center. Maybe it's a true top 4 caliber defenseman or a mix of 2 of those. I don't exactly know, but if you get rid of both those guys, you have the option of going out there and really strengthening up this team and adding in some real additions, some real kind of players who are going to make a big impact on this team. So I think this team definitely needs to go out there this offseason there, fire the head coach, trade away those 2 players, and really switch up this team there and take it in a different direction. And taking a look here at an article and a post on X here from Vince Percogliano, which does include a quote from Peter Laviolette post-game after that terrible 5-1 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning, which saw the team, put up a decent kind of fight at moments, but just couldn't obviously get the job done there and ended up losing that game 5-1 against Tampa in a pretty much must-win game against them as well, which is just another thing there where this team is consistently kind of going into these games as of late where The Rangers know, the fans know, the coaches know, the management knows, the players know that these games are pretty much must win. Like, the Rangers had to go out there and win that game against Tampa there. They pretty much couldn't lose it if they wanted to have even the slightest chance of making the playoffs. And they come out there and show a decent fight, but obviously just nowhere near enough, and at moments just look disastrous as well, which is just not at all what you want to see out of a team who is, still, or at least was, kind of still in the mix, but now at this point there have pretty much fallen out of the race, and things are just definitely not looking likely at all for the Rangers to make playoffs. But taking a look here at a quote from Peter Laviolette post-game there against Tampa, as well as kind of post on X here from Vince Bercagliano, as Vince posts on X saying, does Laviolette have a message for the team at this stage, post that 5-1 loss to Tampa? And Laviolette says, quote, I don't have a message right now. I don't go into the locker room after the game, which is just pretty terrible to see. And then we got a little piece of an article here from Sports Illustrated kind of talking about the matter, and they end up saying the entire post-game statements from the head coach, Peter Laviolette, provide a bit more context, but there's not many ways to interpret his comments. Laviolette has lost the locker room. Even if this is the routine they've established under the veteran coach, a team trying to earn a playoff spot coming off a dispiriting loss needs their coach the most. Instead, Laviolette admitted to already checking out on the season. How could he expect anything else from his lineup? And that's kind of where I do definitely put a decent amount of the blame on Laviolette. Now, I don't think he is the kind of absolute, like 99% to blame here for the situation here and this kind of disastrous kind of season so far, but I definitely think he is a major, factor in this. I think, the lack of moves that, Chris Drury made and the kind of lack of changing of the core that has been kind of, not happening for the past off seasons and deadlines now, where this team has, tried to switch things up a little bit here, but they've just kind of been, for the most part, at the trade deadlines, going out there and acquiring these, rental players like a Tarasenko, a Patrick Kane, an Alex Wenberg, who are all guys who, for the most part, you never really expected to see them kind of re-sign. I mean, there was a thought Patrick Kane could, but there was always the very realistic possibility he might not, and obviously he didn't. So there's just been a lot of kind of poor management moves, poor coaching moves that have happened, but I think in general here, Laviolette needs to get fired, and I just don't think Chris Drury is going to get fired, whether some fans want to see it happen or not, and I'm definitely not against that happening. If it did happen and, we had a new general manager come in this offseason, I wouldn't be against that, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see Peter Laviolette fired. He's going to be kind of used as the scapegoat there kind of thing, and we're going to see a new head coach come in here, hopefully do a much better job. Hopefully, Chris Drury goes out there, trades away guys like Keandre Miller, like a Chris Kreider, and is able to go out there and add in some real impactful players. They've been able to go out there, add in a really good third-line center, a true top-4 caliber defenseman, or top kind of pairing guy to possibly go alongside Adam Fox or just play somewhere on that left side. There are some major kind of needs for this team, but this squad also does have a pretty good kind of core of players to kind of build around if this team can, build the right kind of way. Obviously, we have guys like currently still, Panarin and Trocheck, JT Miller. Obviously, you've got some young guys like Will Cooley, Alexis Lafreniere, a Perreault, an Offman, a Berard, an Edstrom, a Rempe, a Brodzinski, even the same Carrick. And on the back end there, you've got Schneider, Borgen, Foxy. There are some really strong pieces on this team right now. Igor Shesterkin in net there is a great building block, but this team needs to kind of put the right players around these guys, and I think with the way this team is built right now, it's not built the right way. It's not good enough, but there is hope here for this team going into the future and into next season that this team can definitely turn things around fairly quickly. It's just about Chris Drury making the right moves there, hiring the right coach, and hiring or kind of signing the right guys and trading for them in this upcoming offseason. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content, as I do post every single day. And also, definitely don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on the New York Rangers as a whole. Do you want to see Laviolette fired? Do you want to see Chris Drury fired? And kind of what moves do you want to see there? Do you want to see a guy like Keandre Miller traded away? Kreider traded away? What do you think has been the biggest kind of reason for this team's kind of lack of success? Do you think it's the players, coaches, management? Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you next one, and let's go Rangers.